This is a picture of the aliens looking back at me. This was taken in my bathroom dressing mirror. Now, I can see them sometimes in the mirror, but then when they enter the room, they come inside translucent orbs, which are transportation devices. When I first fall asleep, the room is normally very quiet with the sounds of me breathing through a CPAP machine. But soon the room is filled with strange thumping sounds, knocks, and the clicking voices of the aliens. The beings attach electronic equipment to the CPAP machine and go to work. A supervisor orders them to turn me this way or that way or sit me up and what they need to accomplish. So Richard is working on an extensive analysis of the ceiling portal incident that we previously published. A dimension gate opened in my home and remained open for 4 continuous nights, allowing aliens unprecedented access. The report includes evidence from over 120 hours of video and several thousand audio clips. In the meantime, this is an example of what happens absolutely every night. As I get ready for bed, the aliens start talking right away, and then as soon as I fall asleep, they go to work. Okay, this one's iPhone. I've heard this many times before. They watch me setting up equipment and they don't like it. The aliens have disabled the recordings on numerous occasions. Like these 2 nights, they have no recordings. There's a setting deep down in the menu to turn recording off, which is not something I ever get even close to, so there's no chance of accidentally disabling that. Here's an example of 2 pieces of supporting evidence. I'm shutting the French doors to my bathroom when it sounds like someone calls out the name Frank. I have not been able to make the doors duplicate that sound, but then later in my sleep, I say what sounds like, "Hi, Frank." Watch the time jump 5 minutes. This often happens when aliens are present. During the lost time, I address my visitor with the name Frank. These pieces of evidence are stronger when considered together. I've heard hundreds of names over the years, but Frank is a new entity for 2021. I hear this next one a lot. It's the sound of a machine that comes on after one of them says to start it or begin or roll it. It's hard to know what is really being said, but what I find interesting is the obvious click voices and that it sounds like I'm in some sort of conversation with them. Aliens have been described having voices that sound like clicking. Could this be the world's first actual recording of alien voices? This next one is fascinating, typical of aliens talking. They are whispering at the beginning of this clip. Try to imagine this is happening to you. You're home, alone, asleep, and these aliens are all around you, clicking. I've heard this phrase human many, many times. When one hears something over and over, it becomes familiar, like hearing your own name in a crowd. I'm certain they were talking about humans. The rest of this phrase is problematic. What this human is or what he could be doing can be interpreted a bunch of different ways depending on what the listener hears, based on their past experiences. However, the salient point is that there's no explanation for the presence of this phrase on the recording, and the use of the phrase "this human" suggests a non-human entity is saying this word. This sing-song voice that sounds polyphonic is a common type of voice, and we can clearly hear me moaning separately, so this is not from me. Does it continually do that? This is pretty common. Just freaky. In my bedroom in the middle of the night. I think these loud sounds and constant thumps don't wake me up because they're made electronically and not through sound waves. I've proved this concept using a recorder that had the microphones removed. Next, we hear comments about my CPAP. It's fascinating that the aliens don't always know what something is. They never call it a CPAP, they call it a breath machine. Some like it and some of them don't. They call most any recording device a radio or a tape recorder. They don't understand the spinal cord stimulator, but then they don't use metals or any implants. They're able to heal us organically by repairing the organ itself. I have a long recording of a knowledgeable alien explaining to another one how we humans go about getting devices implanted. It's also fascinating and confusing.